Yo, what's good?
Just crap. Hey, how you doing?
Yo, I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just saying, like beforehand, if I ever might mute the
Yep. Yo, I can hear
mute
you
the
loud
mic
and
or
clear.
anything like that, but where I live at is a loud area, and I'm not trying to get a copyright. So, JD Miles, I've been listening to you for some months. I'm not gonna say that I'm well versed on video. I see that you talk about the MGTOW now.
Yeah,
So, when did you start identifying as MGTOW? What year, if I might
I was
ask?
introduced. I was introduced to MGTOW in 2012. Became an official MGTOW in 2015.
All right. So, your original Ontario
Your mic. Yo, you're breaking
or
out.
the
Can you repeat
Midwest?
that? Mountain West.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Um. Oh, okay. You're out in the West. Okay.
Yeah.
So, since you officially became MGTOW in 2015, and I've seen a lot of detractors that have hated on you, etc. So, why do you think they hate on you for?
At first, it started off as them trying to make MGTOW feel like we're a bunch of criminals. This type of things. Even going as far as to slander, defamate, even throw out false claims and accusations. When all that failed, that's when they decided to get petty. They want to act like children, throwing out tantrums and all that type of stuff. The worst case scenario was the fact that you got this clown sitting here acting like, oh, JD Miles is a rapist, and he was putting all these females on camera, claiming that I raped them at this such and such bar in this car in this location, but he doesn't even give out no details. I mean, that's just how petty it goes. And man, case in point, they just can't they just can't stand us.
Yeah, I see that because it's like I'm seeing like a lot of false representations of MGTOW, and the way that you actually listen from all these haters, I don't, and I'm just saying because I don't know a lot about MGTOW. Technically, I might have. I'm just saying like throughout my life experiences, I might been become a MGTOW, but I guess I will not be a MGTOW because now I'm a married man.
Hey,
So what? So who intro? So while you were introduced to MGTOW, right?
yeah.
um, was there like a point in your life that a lot of stuff was not going good? Just tell
Well,
me how you just personally um just have the MGTOW philosophy.
somebody told me about it during one of my darkest times. I mean, when I was staying out in Oklahoma City, I was working for UPS. I had an altercation with a female. I mean, nothing bad happened, just an altercation that I walked away from. Next thing you know, I have a lawyer knocking on my door talking about that I'm being, well, a lawyer and a police officer knocking on my door accusing me of sexual assault.
Wow.
And and next thing you know, I'm stuck in Oklahoma City. UPS dropped me from unemployment, and I'm wasting all my money battling this case until eventually new evidence popped up and security camera footage say clearing my name, showing that there was no physical contact or anything of that matter. The next day, she did. Next day, the
All right.
female who accused me of sexual assault did not show up to court because of the evidence ruling in my favor. Next thing you know, the charges were dropped. And as I was
Thank
preparing to go back
goodness.
home, because originally I'm from Louisiana, I moved up here to Colorado for another shot at good opportunities since the one at Oklahoma City messed up. But I
All right.
was one of I was telling somebody about what happened about that situation. He was like, "Yo, have you ever heard of MGTOW before?" I'm like, "Okay, let me take a look." And this is during the time, and by that time, this ha- now this whole entire case happened in 2010.
All
2011,
right.
I was 2011. I heard about MGTOW, but I didn't took a look at it yet. It wasn't until the end of 2011, beginning of 2012, that I was introduced to the MGTOW philosophy.
All right. I'll tell you my darkest moment. My darkest moment was in 2013 after my mother passed. So I was in a relationship and I got cheated on. And combined with that and death of my mother, I did not feel that this world had anything to offer for me. So I was basically like in survival mode or don't ever care mode or whatever the case may be. So during around that time when I was like in the don't care mode, that's who I've I had a friend that was on the internet. Me and her, we actually started a relationship in 2014. Years down
Mm,
the line, it started to blossom into a fruitful relationship. And in 2021, me and her got married.
mm, okay.
So, so me personally, I did not know, I did not know anything about all the philosophies, red pill, the manosphere, or none of that until like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So therefore, a lot of people they have their own misconception that MGTOW or incels or whatever the case may be, and you don't strike me as that type of person. So why
Yeah,
do people are trying to promote that narrative, in your opinion?
because they want some they want because they need something to tie incels to, in which I had one person call me an incel. I'm like, do you know that I'm not a virgin? Because if you break down incel, which is involuntary celibate, and you focus on celibate means a person who is still a virgin, who is reserving sex until marriage. And one thing they should have figured me out by now is that I'm I'm 39 years old, father of father of two, and if I'm a father of two, then that means I had sex before. And if I had sex before, how can I be an incel? But then I started to look deeper into it because I'm now I'm
You
now a reg- I'm now a registered therapist, and I decided to delve into what what makes these men into incels, in which at this point, one thing everybody needs to understand: the word incel was created by a female. a female who also identified as an incel. Well, nowadays they refer to themselves as femcells now. And then
It's called
it
fem
was
cells.
yeah, it was a site.
I mean,
It
it's
was a
funny.
site. Oh, go ahead.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that you're 39 years old because I'm a year older than you. I'm 40, but and we're like kind of like the same generation. So therefore, like when we was growing, when and you could actually vouch for this too. When we was growing up, I could say that that's when people were actually getting into computers, etc.
Yeah,
And my thing is this: I think that the culture, this is my philosophy, started like generations after us. I'm talking about the currently 24-year-olds and everything like that, the people that never really had social interaction and were internet games, etc. And then on top of it, from what I read, I'm talking about Wikipedia definitions, that it was like around 2010 that the term incel was actually established, or involuntary celibate was actually established. I'm just reading from Wikipedia. I'm not gonna say that I know, but I'm just saying when I
ooh,
was growing up as a teenager, and you might vouch for this also, we you had dudes that couldn't get females, but after a while, it wasn't like a whole community like it is now. So,
yeah,
why do you
Uh,
think
yeah.
that
At first, incel started.
was it
Oh, I'm
something that
sorry.
our generation did wrong?
Not at all.
It was like, do you think it was our generation? Because all right,
Not at all. To be honest, it actually started way earlier than that. But I can tell you this: incels started off as a group of people gathering around to try to see they could get into a relationship with each other. But as the years went by, it went from that to what it is now. Now, the reason why they want to put
right,
incels and MGTOWs together
all
is
right,
is to form their narrative. However, the disconnect comes in is
right,
when they tried to put a link between MGTOW and incels, they forget some of these MGTOWs were once married, divorced, have children. Other MGTOWs can still get laid. So so at this point, the incel argument is completely refuted. But more importantly, last year, not only have MGTOWs refuted that argument, but the incels also came out refuting that argument as well. Now, what they don't know is the incels actually have a problem with MGTOW because in their mind, they believe MGTOW is throwing a wrench in what they're doing. Keep in mind, incels still want to be with women, and by everybody linking incels to MGTOW, it's like, what are y'all doing? What are us MGTOWs are doing? It's like, as I say before, we're throwing a wrench in their progress, in which we don't even care about the incels at all. We just over here doing our own thing. We just want to be left alone. We just trying to better ourselves, whether it's financially, physically, mentally, and spiritually. At this point, I'm not going to say that we turned our back completely away from females altogether, but we are not down to a point to where we are desperate. Now, I'm not saying this to put a black eye on the incel in the incel community, but keep in mind both MGTOWs and incels are two separate groups altogether. And let's see for the let's see as for everyone linking them all together, they can't find a link despite the fact that they still want to cry about it even though the argument has been refuted. Even social media news outlets, they trying their hardest to put a link between MGTOWs and incels. Now, when that failed, they now on to the next phase. They now try to link incels to the manosphere, not even knowing that the incels are have separated themselves from the manosphere altogether.
All right.
Hey yo, oh, I'm
So
about to say you're still on?
there's a I don't know, I will not say, yeah, I'm still on. It's just that I have to mute my mic because copyright strikes or whatever.
Yeah.
So my things is this. I saw one of your videos where there's a person that I cannot stand. So I saw you roasted him. So the person that I can't stand is of Queen Macho. So when he was talking about all the because most of the stuff that he always says, he's not an expert in nothing. So therefore, he always tried to spit a false narrative. While me and him, we had a debate, and he decided to try to and so say disparaging things about my wife. So me and him, we actually went at it on the stream.
Hmm.
So with him, he was like people's wives. And me personally, where we come from and everything like
Yeah.
just don't take that. And him, he all his narrative is me. He wanted to try to bring supremacy into the Dominican mindset, and I'm that. Therefore, that's where me and him differ.
Yeah. One thing I would not respect a content creator doing, getting family and children involved into whatever issue they have with someone else. And I always say it, if you have an issue with somebody, keep it between you and that person. Why are you dragging other people's family into this? And that just lets me know that they're
Exactly.
losing the argument. They losing the argument. And when they lose the argument, they get desperate.
Exactly.
If I'm gonna go for you, I'm going for you. I'm
Yeah,
going for you head
and to
on.
me, thank you. And I'm like, to me, is this right? It's like it's to the point when I have my live streams, right?
Yeah.
This guy is I'm finding more information that people are trying to dox me and all this stuff. Because all right, I'll give you a little background about me. I was born in the United States. Both of my parents were from the Dominican Republic. So when I was younger, I grew up. I stayed 7 years in Gulfport, Mississippi, and then I went back to New York. So with that, I had like a great respect for African American culture, and it's even to this day that certain people of my ethnic group, the Dominicans, they'll try to tell me that I'm not Dominican, or they'll try to tell me that in Spanish that I'm a vende patria or a traitor. When the fact is that I might speak bad Spanish, but I'm repping my culture the way that my parents taught me. So
And that's all that
yeah,
matters.
so I've actually did like some research exactly, but then you have some people who are part of the Hispanistas. The Hispanistas are they want to actually try to we call them Spain worshippers, like in the Latino collective, and then they're so against, you have certain people who are so against uh, Af- Afro Latinos that don't try to say that we're not, that we don't exist or whatever the case may be. That said, it's just that it's just that there's like a lot of internet bickering, which is on TikTok and on YouTube. So that's where I've been like maybe for maybe the past year and stuff. And then when I started videos and people could talk about, oh, MGTOWs, they're just insults and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, if the thing is though, I have a friend who actually identifies as MGTOW, and to me, I don't actually see him as neither those parts nor of the manosphere. Therefore, me, I'm just saying because I'm ignorant, and MGTOW is actually a new term that I'm learning here. So
Yep.
therefore, before I went up and I tried to do a stream, but then it went kaputs. So thank you for being on my panel, and I
No problem.
always wanted to know like the depth of MGTOW. Is it? And the thing is though, and you gave
Yeah.
me and you told me about what MGTOW is. So
Yeah. And another thing to keep in
as a
mind.
MGTOW,
Yeah. I would say another thing to keep in mind as well.
all right,
In order to fully
all right,
understand MGTOW, you have to have interaction with women. I mean, I understand it. I
all
mean,
right,
I understand if if you're if they're young, they're new to the game, and they want the better understanding. That way, they'll be ready for the world. I can understand that. Now, here's what separates MGTOW from incels. You see, how can an incel teach anybody the ways of being with a woman, being in a relationship with a woman when they're struggling? And get this as well. The majority of these fools hating on MGTOWs, calling them incels, I'm gonna let you in on something. They're incels themselves. In fact, one of my obvious
mm,
haters that constantly stay on my jock strap, he had not one but two females. And both of them admitted
all right,
that he doesn't sleep with neither one of them. But he's going around trying to call other people incels.
wow,
But wait, I'm like, well, wait a second, hold up. How you gonna
wow,
call anyone an incel when you had two females, when you had not one but two females, both of them admitted that you didn't have sex with neither one of them. So basically the both of them friend zoned his ass. Excuse the language.
I mean, shoot, that is a bad thing to do. I mean, me personally, I could say that I've been there, I've done that, whatsoever the case may be. But
Yeah,
as a guy that I am, I could actually say I admit my faults, but I'm not one thing not gonna go and lie on my meat, especially on women that I have never been with. And it's to the point, like on one of my other streams, is that even though I'm a married man, he, it's like I'm dealing with the female who's trying to be on my top just because in her mind she thinks that I have money. When the fact is, like in my job setting, I avoid that female because at the end of the day she spells nothing but trouble.
yep,
So it's like to a point that that this female, ever since I started on my job, and then she left, and I got that you actually consider an incel or
yeah,
and a simp. And I'm gonna tell you why he's a simp. First of all, you and I we know a man is not gonna go try to talk to a woman that he barely understand the language, right?
Right.
And then second of all, this guy was bullying other Latino men, thinking that they should go and translate for him this female, whatsoever the case may be. So he was actually trying to treat a lot of people bad because he believes like, oh, they supposed to work for me whatsoever. And then third, this guy was trying to make a whole bunch of rumors about me because in his mind he thinks that, oh, that the woman that was trying to get at me was the best woman ever. When the fact is, to me, if a female is asking for money and then all she does is curses, and I'm just
It
saying,
sounds like
I
he's
know the
intimidated
language,
by
but
you.
yet I'm trying to be, but yet
Yeah, I was saying it sounds like he was intimidated by you. That's the reason why he was going at you that hard. And believe me, I had my fair share of that too. Like one time during the weekend, I was at the bar watching a basketball game at one point. Apparently this dude and his wife came into the bar, and no, it's not a joke either. His while he went to the bathroom, his wife sparked a conversation with me out of the blue, and I didn't even see this coming. So yeah, we just conversated. She wanted to know all about basketball. I was telling her about it. Next thing you know, her husband came out, and he was acting a fool. Like why are you speaking with him for? Yo, don't you know that's my wife? Well, I'm like, first off, we just conversating about basketball. I have no intentions on trying to hit on your wife, sir. And of course he probably drunk and full of drugs as well. He trying to get off. He's trying to go off on me. I'm like, please. And yes, I had my pocket knife with me. I'm like, dude, this dude acts up. I'm gonna have to cut him because first off, I'm only at this bar to drink, and relax myself. I ain't got time for this. And of course, his wife, she's trying to pull him aside because of the fact that look, he ain't trying to hit on me. We just sparking a conversation. I'm like, damn. I'm thinking to myself, God damn, is this dude insecure? He's so he's so fearful that somebody is going to take his wife away. Come on. And no, I
it's
never
not
was
even
the
that.
type.
It's to the point that now.
Hmm?
Exactly, but it's like if you really look at it right now, certain people, it's like how should I say? It's to the point that people we're living like in untrustful times. Let's be honest, and then
Yeah,
we're living in disrespectful times as well. To the point that okay, you might have somebody or whatever, but then after that they'll be like, oh, this is my opening or whatever. So therefore, as you know, men will think that, oh, I know how men think because I'm a man or whatsoever. I got to do this or whatsoever.
yeah,
So therefore, that's where all that came from. But if a man is secure and the woman makes him feel secure, even if he's drunk, he's not gonna act like that.
absolutely. And and I'm like, man, please get your husband because I don't want to harm this dude. I don't even want to harm this dude because if I've harmed him, I'm gonna have to deal with the police. And I don't want to deal. I don't want to have no dealings with the police whatsoever, especially after what happened to me before. So she drug him out. I went back. I was so pissed off. Went back, ordered me another drink. Finished watching the game. Went back home.
Got you. Right. I mean, me personally, or it's like right now. The thing is, though, this guy, you could say, it's like the guy in my job. Well, he got kicked out afterwards because he actually started fights with everybody. But the thing is, though, if a guy's not, if a guy is not trying to mac to a female and remind you, this guy was a pure simp. The guy, what I say is this guy's a pure simp. How the heck you gonna fight another man over a female that everybody knows is loose? If you get my drift, you
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
That's like
I don't get that
that's
shit
like a
at
guy.
all.
That's like me neither. And it's to the point that me and this guy we had confrontations in the job, and it all stemmed from that female being obsessive of me, and the reason why I didn't do any, I ain't gonna go and try to do anything because I'm at the job to work, and two, I know how this female gets down. In her mind, she thinks that men are so stupid because she has one thing going for her, and that was her backside. So therefore, since she
Yep.
thinks that she has a big backside, she thinks that all men are supposed to be weak. And then after a while, the men who were married that she was messing with were paying her. So she saw dollar signs when she saw me.
Hmm. And one of the many things MGTOW teaches is that you never fight over a woman. Yeah. And even I brought this up on numerous occasions and many channels later, which got terminated. You never fight over a woman. I mean, and think about this: how many simps are 6 feet under over a woman? How many simps are locked up serving life sentences over a woman? And by the end of the day, what is that woman doing? She's giving it
Exactly.
to the next dude. She's
It
giving it to
brings
the next dude. So it's not even worth it. And oftentimes
yeah,
I'll
it's
tell these
like,
dudes, is
for
she really
example,
is she
it's
really
like for
worth all
example,
this? Oh,
it's
go
like to
ahead.
me is this. This guy, it's like if I have a philosophy also. If you see a woman trying to go at you, and then all the guys are a bunch of names, 9 times out of 10, you start to think that female's a name too. If you
Yep.
get my drift.
Yep.
If all the
No
guys who are
different.
being calm, why this woman, right? And are they look drunk or they're old and everything like that. And then her whole premise for coming back on the job is this. She does a guard in my job that I'm cool with. So he gave me the heads up like maybe 1 or 2 months before.
Mm.
He was like, "Oh, this female was asking for you." I'm like, "Okay." And I told her, "You're married." I was on the road to being married. So after a while, I was like, "Okay." So she came after, I guess, orientation for the new workers or whatsoever the case may be. So after a while, like it happened this week. There was like a hydro within my job. So we just standing outside. So in Spanish, she was like, "Oh, where's your wedding ring at?" I was like, "I don't wear it on me because there's a rule in the job that says if you have a ring with diamonds, you can't wear it in job premises."
Hmm.
And then to me, this is one thing she was asking, like, "Okay, so you look like Daddy Yankee or something like that." And then she was trying to say, like, "Okay, well, you look like one of those, like one of the darker guys that does Santeria or something." There's certain stuff in that religion which is called Montao. And I told her. I don't do that. I identify as a Christian. And she still try to do whatever. Then you want to try to ask how me and my wife get it on in the bedroom. I had to tell her 3 times. That's not your business. This is a job. You have no business on asking on what me and my wife do in the bedroom. You don't ask a married man that. It kept going on, so I just went up and I walked off.
And why does she
Certain
want
people was
it
like,
to
oh,
know?
she thought that everybody she has that place. It's like to me, it's like she said she was saying the same talking points that she was about 3 years ago. So you're gonna boast and you think that you impress me of what you're doing or whatsoever. 9 times out of 10, you're not that smart. And if a person's talking about the 3 letter word all the time and you cursing, that was really showing to me that you're not really that educated either.
Yeah. On top of that, and she's trying. Well, I'm gonna put it like this. My father told me and my older brother, when y'all get to a point, when it's to a point to where you are married to a female, then of course you got these other females who clearly has a type. They're into married men. They will try to tempt you. They'll try to tempt you by any means necessary. If you're in that situation, avoid them at all costs. And if they are persistent, try to find a way to avoid them altogether. Now, of course, my brother, who's also married, he was in that position. However, I would say that he wasn't strong enough to to resist the temptations. Now, of course, he he thanks God to this very day that his marriage was salvageable. But he wished he should have listened. And I'm like, why didn't you listen when you were told? But he was like, she was fine and everything. It doesn't matter. She could she could be fine as Beyonce, but remember, you're married. She's Well, only thing that she's gonna do is wreck your
Exactly.
marriage. And
And
all,
it's
yeah,
and
wreck
it
your marriage. Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
and it's like during I guess since I've been married. I mean, there was another female that she tried it, and to me, she it's like you could tell that a person likes you, but you just don't pay attention to it. So the more that I don't pay attention to it, they know that you're not getting me that easily. And me personally, it's like so. Why is it that somebody they'll be like, okay, we want this or whatever, when the fact is, I'm not showing like in any type of look, so therefore, I won't appeal to anybody. I just do my work
Mm.
and go home. But for some inordinate reason, there was a new person, a new higher up that came, and it was funny, and it just brought like I don't trust this person.
Yeah.
The reason why I say this is because the higher and it was
Yo,
like
you
maybe 5 gentlemen. We were just leaving out the. All right, yeah,
yo,
all right,
I was
and
gonna say that I'm a big fan
gentlemen,
of classic soul movies. And as I recall, Dolomite always said this: never mix business with pleasure. Because that's gonna put you in a very screwed up situation. I never understood that when I was younger, but as I got older, I started to understand exactly what Dolomite
right,
meant, and I'm seeing this to this very day.
Exactly. Hmm.
I mean, think about it. I mean, really think about this. One of your fellow employees is dating another employee. It start off great at first, but then of course when things go south, drama ensues and all this type of stuff. Not only is it affecting the house that they live in, but they also bringing it to the job. Next thing you next thing you know, next thing you know, it's affecting other people's work performance and it's affecting their own. Next thing you know, the job that the jobs doesn't get done and it's losing money and all this type of stuff. I mean, that's just too much to deal with.
I agree. I mean, I could actually say it's I've been seeing a lot of several instances of that within my own job. And but I'm just saying, like in my aspect, when that person went and me and that person was not properly introduced, that always resonate with me. Like, okay, who's been telling this person about me? Because I try to stay in the background. If you get what I'm trying to say, I don't try to be
Yeah.
the popular coworker or anything of that nature because that gets you nowhere. And I'm about to make 4 years within my job, so I just even though of the confrontations that I've had, which were public, I try to keep everything else private. And the only people I actually talk to, which is like you could actually call my inner circle, is just actually one guy. Shout out to him, by the way. So me and him, we actually talk like whatever, and me and him, he actually gives me some good advice.
Well, let me say, keep up the good work, man. And always, and one thing for certain, keep your circles small. For some people, they want everybody included in that circle. No, 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 no. Keep the people in your circle to a minimum. That will that will bring down drama and conflict, and that's one thing I learned the hard way.
Same here.
And,
I had to learn that the very
yep,
hard way.
yep. And and let's see, I've been with my job for nine
And
years.
then,
I started off on the floor, then got promoted to supervisor, then got promoted to assistant manager.
nice,
And I
nice.
seen people come, I seen people go, I seen people act a fool and screw it
Mhm.
up for themselves. And what you're doing, dude, I could make you a supervisor in no time. I mean, straight
Wow.
up, what people who start off in the workforce don't know there's rules to it. If you follow those rules, you'll go a long way. And believe me, I'm actually I'm actually evidence to that.
Thank you. Yep. So another question that I've asked, and you're a man of great knowledge because I do listen to you.
Hmm.
In your lifetime, have you traveled outside the country?
Twice. Both of them were cruises, but twice. I went. Let's see, back
Yeah,
in
I just
2008.
went to
I
a
went
cruise
to
last year.
Yeah, back in 2008. I went to Jamaica. Lo- lovely, lovely place. The people were nice there, In 2013, I went to Cuba. Not Panama. Uh, if I can remember the name, Quebec. No, Havana, Cuba. My my Spanish was my Spanish was weak, but the people were nice there too. But I'm trying to plan to go out the. But recently, I'm trying to go out the country again. This time to Trinidad. Just go out there, relax a bit, spend time on the beach and all that type of stuff. But of course, you got some sitting there acting like, oh, you only got your passport because you want to go to these countries to get with these females. No, I do not. Yeah, I got a passport, but that's not what I got it for. I got my passport to go out, relax, and enjoy myself, not be out here on these in these countries, mess with these females, and and risk conflict with the locals. That's never been me, and that's never why I got my passport. Hey yo, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just had to switch from my laptop to my own phone. What I
Oh,
was
okay.
trying to say is is that one thing that I've actually seen the hypocrisy is everybody's talking about the passport bros, right?
Yeah.
But I don't hear anybody talking about the passport sisters. And one of the main examples to me of the passport sisters was that movie Waiting to Exhale with what's her name? I know it was with Tay Diggs. Dang, what's her name?
Angela
Courtney
Bassett?
B's Angela Bassett, yes.
Yeah.
So one thing that I've actually seen with women is that now they actually take these relaxing trips, that they're healing and everything like that. Now, if
Oh,
they're healing and stuff,
you mean that
like yeah,
movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back?
yeah. So that was like our introduction to what we call the passport sisters.
Yep. In fact,
So
I believe that video's still up on my channel, but you have one mad at the passport bro. So at the same time, she has her passport. She has her passport. She's going to other countries as well. Now, back in 2018, I believe in 2018, you had Crystal and Kerrison promoting, trying to promote this vacation where she was going to help these black females get passports to go out to Italy. Now, keep in mind, nobody tripped on that. But at the the moment, you got brothers getting their passports and going to different countries to get with women. Now all of a sudden it's problematic.
yeah, I
I'm like,
know.
y'all were this. I'm like, y'all were the same black females who were promoting it. Now you mad because these dudes are doing it too. Come on.
And it's like to me, which is actually funny. It's like okay, I had I have cousins in the Dominican Republic. Some of them they speak good English, some of them don't. But to me, you have some people who are legitimately they'll be like, okay, if you know somebody who's nice, you know, I'll be a good wife. And I'm like, okay. But then when I see some of my friends are married, and then some of my friends, you know, they're cool, whatever. But then some of them, you know, they just want to play this player lifestyle, which is all right. But you know, I'm not gonna go and give my give a relative somebody that I know that is not gonna be fully attentive to them. So that's not worth it.
Straight up. I mean, it's going to get down to a point to where you're going to have to. I mean, it's getting down. I mean, for the ones getting their passports to go to different countries, come on, you can't do the same thing out there that you're doing back in the West. Other word, other words, is gonna you're gonna make it hard for not just yourself, but other brothers getting their passports as well. I mean, it's okay to be a player and all this type of stuff, but it's gonna get down to a point to where you gotta do what you went out there for. I mean, they claim they're getting their
Exactly.
passports to find a female to get a to get into a relationship with, get married, and have a family with. So at this point, why do the same thing? Why put themselves in the same position that they were when they were in the West, when they should be out there doing what they were doing what they are supposed to do, get their passports, find a find a woman, get married, be and have a family and be at peace. I mean,
Exactly.
you can't just be going out there sleeping with all these random females. Other words, Other words, that's just more ammo for these females who have a problem with them back in the West. And I'm seeing this for my own eyes. But more importantly, the passport bros need to need to educate the ones who just got their passport and about to leave the country too, because what what they do out there is going to affect their entire cause, and that's something they don't need at the moment, especially when all this pressure is on them.
Exactly. Another thing, another question that I have to ask: What is
What?
as a MGTOW? What is in recent news? The I guess the Biden administration or lawmakers. I don't know which one is which anymore.
Hmm.
But they've actually classified the red pill and the worst in the use of the word Giga Chad as
Red
extremist
pill,
terms.
Giga Chad, and base, and which of course don't make no sense at all. Basically,
To
they're
me, is
trying to
this. To me, it
basically,
doesn't make any sense because if you look at the term Giga Chad, right? I don't
yeah,
know if it, I don't know if it's a fake or a real human, but they show like a guy with the elongated jaw, and I guess he's supposed to be muscular. So now you having a whole bunch of these people calling each other Giga Chads, or it was like, oh, he's a Chad. To me, that just don't sound right. It's like,
definitely.
oh yeah, you're just a Chad. I'm like, a what?
What?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you said you're Chad. I'm like, what?
I mean,
Like,
it's like the FBI trying to say red pill is extremism. I'm like, how? I'm like, how when red pill don't even promote any type of violent behavior. That don't make no sense. And then it dawned to me that look, the FBI is only getting involved because keep in mind, at first it was the Secret Service and Homeland Security that tried that was going after the manosphere, calling them incels. But when they failed, that's when the FBI jumped in, and
all right.
they were trying to label red pill, giga chad, based, and which of course that don't make no sense of itself because they trying to make the word base seem like some type of racial slur and that type of thing. But how can it be a racial slur when the word base is used in all types of situations? MGTOW, red pill, manosphere, and non alike. I mean that don't make no sense. But of
I
course,
mean, to me, to
oh,
me, is this. Everybody wants to ban all these terms, but yet when it comes to rap or anything like that, I'm gonna say that if everybody feels so strongly about words, why haven't the N word hasn't been banned yet? I mean,
that's my
for anybody to go around and stop saying it, and so we could actually be right, so we could actually, progress. The reason why I
Exactly.
say this is this. When I was a little kid, growing up down south, right? Everybody everybody who was like of the older generation, when it became to Martin Luther King Day, everybody had a respect. Nobody. I'm just saying from my eyes, everybody down south, because I grew up in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Everybody had respect when it was that day. You saw everybody like in communion, and you saw even people that I thought like, oh yeah, this person is like that. When they saw me and they saw everything, the way that they acted was like, okay, this is what we did, this is what we went through. Like, and you just saw the respect through those people. At first I didn't understand it, but then when you start thinking about it years later, you saw that how people had respect when it came for that day.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they don't know what it is, and then they actually promoting uh the ghetto nonsense that we actually know as today. And when I
Exactly.
was with my ex, I told her I do not like BET anymore, because when I was growing up, BET was about black excellence, not
Yep.
about reality shows where men and women are fighting over frivolous stuff and all the other stuff that makes a society destroy.
Straight. I mean, straight up, you ain't lying either because I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and it was the same day too. It was the same thing too when it came to Martin Luther King Day.
Exactly.
I mean,
I
the
don't know
only time
about
I watched BET was when they had no, that was MTV Rap. That's what I'm saying. But during that time, during that time, I watch BET for the music videos, but then you had 106 in Park, you had others out there, but then they started switching to reality shows, and I'm like, uh, wait a second. I thought I thought I watched BET to escape reality, not be reminded of it.
like for example, right? It was like me. I have like a utter dislike for reality shows, and I'm going to tell you why.
Same here.
Remember back in the day when it was Spike, right? When
Yeah,
Spike was the Ultimate Man channel. I don't know if it's still
Spike
on there
TV.
anymore.
Yep.
So imagine doing the man stuff. Like, okay, and me and my ex had two TVs. She had a big TV. I had my little plasma, whatever, right? So I'm watching my TV, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna watch my show, whatever. She watching her reality TV, and I call it ghetto nonsense. Now I'm watching my Spike, and when it's the UFC going into and it was just about to get interesting. Here comes she. Here comes the ex switching my UFC just to watch that ghetto ratchet reality show. You know that caused a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
Like
Nobody ain't nobody wanted to watch that.
exactly.
I mean,
It's it's even to the point that there's like a whole bunch of like, yeah, this is House of Atlanta, House of Los Angeles, all this stuff. I'm like, I don't care.
and 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 the irony of it all, I constantly hear them say, "Oh, I don't like drama and all this type of stuff." Well, okay, if you don't like drama, then why do you watch drama for?
And if you actually look at it, it's actually giving a lot of young people. This is what I believe. A negative impact on how to do stuff. Now, for example. if a person watches too much drama, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about reality shows. And I'm not gonna go around and say I'm the most educated person because I'm not. But
Me
if
neither.
if a person cannot articulate a word to say, "Hey, how you doing? You know, this is a job or anything like that," instead of, "Yeah, you know, these MFers right there, and you know, this is my biatches and all this other stuff." 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna get the job.
Exactly. But anyway, I hate to cut this short, but I just got a call, and
All right,
I need to take care of something real quick.
all right.
But
Well, you
thanks for
know, it
having me
was
on.
nice. Anytime, JD Miles, and you're always welcome to.
All right. Catch you later.
Uh, Catch you later.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Well, I could say it was a pleasure having JD Miles right here. He gave like a good understanding of what MGTOW is. So I actually have a better understanding of it now. So for everybody who watched the show or who tried to get on the panel, I could actually say thanks to JD Miles. So he's always welcomed on my show. And whoever's watching, have a good night. And thanks for tuning in.
Damn, why you